Wicked for Good was nearly a very different movie with a much darker, scary ending and deleted scenes including a scandalous kiss between Glinda and Fiero. A swankified version of For Good plus Glinda's personal train launch. Yippee-ki-yay, movie lovers! These are the Wicked for Good deleted scenes and alternate ending you never got to see. Fans of Glinda's fabulous fashion will have been gutted when a scene of the popular girl wearing a spectacular pink outfit that was teased in many of trailers and promo material didn't make it into the final film. Although we get a few shots of Glinda's pink train in the movie, originally there was also a scene of the launch event for the new locomotive, which appears to have replaced the emerald-colored one from the first film. In the cutscene, Glinda poses for the photographers, and there's a group of pink-clad young girls, scouts perhaps, singing in her honor. Their outfits aren't exactly the same, but they have more than a passing resemblance to the Lullaby League singers and ballerinas from the classic Wizard of Oz movie, so I think this was an homage to them. The Lullaby League pop up in the song Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead, and they sing a little ditty to welcome Dorothy to Munchkinland. It's quite surprising the scene was cut, as there was even a poster release of Glinda in this outfit, which shows more details including the skirt having traces of green mixed with the pink, hinting at Elphaba's influence on her friend. It seems like the cutscene would have come around the beginning of the film as our first introduction to what Glinda is up to, creating a nice comparison to Elfie, who's busy beating up guards on the Yellow Brick Road and liberating enslaved animals. Although it would have been a fun scene, it was probably cut for pacing purposes. Plus, Glinda having her own train might have felt at odds with Madame Morrible, giving her her own private bubble to travel around Oz. A lot of work obviously went into the scene and designing Glinda's dress, and there's even official merch of the young girl's pink satchels. Fans of the Broadway musical always knew Fiero was going to end up with Elphaba, but Wicked for Good made his leaving of Glinda for her best friend sting even more. The movie sets up a grand wedding scene, and just when Glinda's about to tie the knot with Fiero, the moment's wrecked by a stampede of animals. On top of this devastation, there was a deleted scene of Fiero kissing Glinda passionately, which would have made his betrayal hit even harder. Dana Fox, who co-wrote the screenplay, describes the cutscene as romantic and beautiful, but a little too passionate. Fox said that seeing the kiss scene made it too hard to watch Fiero make the choice to be with Elphaba and make it okay that Elphaba ran off with him. It was too real that he and Glinda were actually feeling something together, and the moment implied that he really did love Glinda. Fox elaborated that if the scene had been included, our brains would have exploded when he didn't choose Glinda in the end, and then we'd hate Elphaba, Glinda, and Fiero. Now, the ending of Wicked was always going to be bittersweet, with Elfie faking her own death and going into exile, leaving Glinda alone. But the original ending director Jon Chu had planned for us was going to be much darker and scarier for our Wicked Witch Elphaba and Scarecrow Fiero as they fled further into the sandy wilderness. In Frank L. Baum's novels, the land of Oz is surrounded on all sides by barren deserts with lethal-sounding names such as the Deadly Desert, the Impassable Desert, the Shifting Sands, and the Great Sandy Wastes. In fact, in the first Wicked movie, Elfie discovers a map in Dr. Dilliman's room, which shows an escape tunnel route that the animals are planning to use that goes beyond Oz and ends up in the Impassable Desert, presumably where Elfie and Fiero end up at the end of the sequel. In Baum's books, all the deserts are described as being incredibly dangerous and impossible to cross and survive. And in the Return to Oz movie, stepping into the desert is lethal, and wheelers who fall in die and turn to sand. However, as Wicked for Good developed, Chu decided he wanted to see the desert less as a dead space and more as a possibility, adding in an interview that no one has explored that horizon because everyone's too scared. It appears that although initially the plan was for the film to end on a sense of foreboding, where we might wonder whether Elfie and Fiero will survive, when Chu decided to go more optimistic, he made the desert location more hopeful by placing sparkles in the sand, which, given the overall tone of the ending, does leave the movie on a much more optimistic note. And I dive deep into that upbeat ending, including the exact meaning of the Grimmery opening for Glinda in my Ending Explained video. Yippee-ki-yay, movie lovers! See you next time.